By week 6 of the collapse, the country enters a phase no one talks about, but every serious survival model predicts. This is the point where the collapse stops being passive and starts becoming selective. Up until now, people have been surviving on momentum, stored resources, and borrowed hope. But in week 6, the environment begins doing what environments always do when resources disappear. It starts removing what can't survive. This isn't about morality. It isn't about people being good or bad. It's about pressure, scarcity, and reality. Week 6 is when the collapse begins to call. In the early weeks, people still extended grace to one another. They helped strangers, they shared food, they even gave second chances. But by week 6, that grace is gone. Not because people suddenly became evil, but because they learned the hard lesson the collapse teaches everyone very, very quickly. Helping the wrong person will take your life. Every calorie matters now. Every sip of water matters. Every risk you take has consequences. Communities stop absorbing outsiders. Doors stay closed. Guards stop giving warnings. Groups that once debated decisions now act immediately. The cost of hesitation has become too high. By week 6, compassion without calculation becomes a severe liability, and the collapse punishes liabilities. By now, the medical consequences of the collapse are undeniable. People who were barely holding on in week 5 no longer can. Untreated infections worsen. Minor injuries become disabling. Chronic conditions spiral out of control. Dehydration and malnutrition weaken immune systems that were already stressed beyond their limits. This is when death becomes common. Not dramatic, not violent, but constant. People pass quietly in shelters, homes, and makeshift camps. And because communities are stretched thin, bodies are dealt with quickly. There are no ceremonies. There are no memorials, just absolute efficiency. By week 6, survival groups are forced to confront a brutal truth. They cannot save everyone. And the emotional toll of making those decisions begins to carve deep psychological scars into anyone still standing. In week 6, you stop seeing abandoned houses and start seeing entire areas abandoned. Entire neighborhoods go dark, entire camps vanish. Groups that lack discipline, leadership, or sustainable resources simply have ceased to exist. Some scattered, some were absorbed, some died off quietly, and some were taken over. The landscape begins changing rapidly now. Places that were contested in earlier weeks become empty. Routes that once felt dangerous become eerily quiet, and the absence itself becomes a warning sign. Because when an area goes silent, it usually means something went very, very wrong there. Violence doesn't increase dramatically in week 6, it becomes normalized. People stop reacting emotionally to it. Gunshots no longer cause panic. Fights no longer draw large crowds, and death becomes nothing but background noise. Groups that survive this phase learn quickly. Decisive action prevents future problems. Confrontations are shorter, conflicts are settled faster, and mercy becomes rare because mercy has proven costly too many times before. This is the week where violence stops being shocking and starts being procedural. One of the hardest truths about week 6 is this: the collapse does not care who you are. Children, the elderly, the sick, and the disabled suffer the most, not because people want them to, but because survival environments are unforgiving. Families face impossible choices. Groups quietly shift responsibilities. Some members become dependents instead of contributors. And when resources run thin enough, those realities can fracture even the strongest bonds. This is the phase where survival becomes generational and where the moral cost of collapse becomes undeniable. While weaker groups disappear, stronger ones begin to grow. Week 6 is when the power consolidates. Groups with leadership, discipline, and structure expand their influence. They absorb territory, they secure water sources, they control routes, they establish reputation. Not through speeches, not through law, but through consistency and consequences. By now, everyone knows which groups are stable and which ones are dangerous, and people begin adjusting to their movement patterns accordingly. The collapse map becomes clearer, not on paper, but in behavior. By week 6, exhaustion isn't just physical, it's psychological. People have been operating under constant stress for over a month. Sleep is shallow, fear is constant, decisions carry life or death weight every single day. Some people begin to crack, some freeze, some become restless, and some shut down entirely. Mental breakdowns lead to fatal mistakes. Someone wanders off, someone ignores protocol, someone lashes out at the wrong time. Week 6 claims lives not just through hunger or violence, but through burnout. Survival now requires emotional control, just as much as physical preparedness. By now, every surviving community left has a set of rules, and they are enforced without debate. Curfews are real, borders are defended, punishments are immediate, not because people want authority, but because chaos is more dangerous than the control. These rules aren't written down, they're learned quickly. Break them once and you're warned, break them twice, you're out. Communities that fail to enforce their rules don't ever last long enough to reach week 7. Order returns, but it's local, brutal, and uncompromising. Week 6 is the dividing line. People who are still alive now are not surviving by accident. They've adapted, they've hardened, they've learned restraint, and they've learned discipline. They've learned when to act and when to disappear. The collapse hasn't ended. It's just simply evolved. From this point forward, survival belongs to those who understand that the world they lived in is now gone, and that the world they're now in rewards awareness, restraint, and strength. Week 6 is not the end of the collapse by far. It's the point where the collapse begins reshaping the future. But as power structures harden, territory stabilize, trade networks begin forming, and the line between survival and civilization starts to blur, week 7 brings a whole new dynamic. This is Appalachian Prepper. Stay vigilant, stay ready, and as always, stay safe out there.